Good evening and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this Sunday. It's not really evening, is it? It's not noche, it's still tarde. So yeah, strange one. But anyway, good afternoon, welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View to all you Celtic fans all around the world. Before I get started, I got a really nice message that I picked up on Instagram today, and it kind of threw me, to be honest, and it was much appreciated. I'm still trying to get my head around it, to be honest. It's you don't realise the impact that you're having on people. You know, when you say a simple kind of threw me, to be a simple comment. You know, just and I see the stats, and let's get on with the video, shall we say? I did change the name of the video. I changed the name of the video, and I changed the thumbnail from the video. I changed the name of the video from I Love Celtic, but it's been a physically, mentally draining season. And I was actually going to talk about, I'm standing tonight, by the way, because my posture needs it. So and I got the desk working. And I think that I changed it with the mindset of, let's not just talk about Martin O'Neill and talk about the future and talk about what's going to happen with the club. Let's talk about the bigger picture in football and what happened yesterday, what's happened over the course of the season. You can go back to when Hibs got over exuberant and went on the pitch. People going on the pitch isn't a new thing, but back in 1991, I'm going to say, bloody hell, we're going to get a history lesson tonight. Back in 1991, let me just. Back in 1991, there was the Football Offences Act. Now, this is just for England and Wales. It's English law. Scotland has its own laws, its own legal system, so didn't really matter. And the law, which was specifically outlawed pitch invasions in England and Wales, was passed in response to the rising of football hooliganism. And it was one of the recommendations of the Taylor Report. Now, for the yous that are too young, for the people that are too young, they will not really remember. Well, to give you a little bit of history lesson, the reason that Rangers Football Club back in the 1990s were so successful with several ex-English team players and players that played for England is because English football went through a really bad phase of being banned from European football. English league teams like your Arsenals, your Manchester United, your Chelseas were all banned from playing in Europe because of hooliganism. Hooliganism had been on the rise over the case over the years. From the 70s, the 80s got worse. The 80s was kind of there was a change in Europe. There was a change in demographics. So to get you up to date, they brought in this act in 1991 to make it illegal for fans to go onto the pitch. From the 70s, the 80s. I'm going to just. And 1, 2, that should be back on. Now, when you look at Scotland, I don't like comparing England to Scotland because the finances, and even back in 1991, the finances weren't much different. When in the 2000s, when Martin O'Neill came to Celtic, he was able to pay the likes of John Hartson, the likes of Chris Sutton, the likes of Craig Bellamy, the likes of Neil Lennon, the likes of Neil Guppy. He was actually able to pay them the same as what they would have got paid at a club down in England. But what happened after those years is the Sky investment got bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, did it get bigger because of... Yes, you're right, Brian. You're right. You're exactly right. Did football change in Scotland enough? All-stater stadiums were brought in. There was, when the SPFL first came about, there was the premise that you had to have a 10,000-seater stadium to be in the SPFL. You had to have an all-grass pitch. You had to have a 10,000-seat stadium. Those were the minimum requirements for the new modern football era. It was the new modern look at football, getting away from the hooliganism aspect of it. The terraces of English football have changed over the years. They're not as boisterous as what they used to be. The terraces of Scottish football have changed. People have stopped watching as much Scottish football. People will say that, look, Scottish has got one of the biggest per capita of people that go to game. But the realisation is a lot of people do not watch Scottish football. They'll watch English Premier League football. A guy that I grew up with and went to school, who was an avid Celtic fan growing up in Kirkcaldy, he started supporting Manchester United and started running a bus from Fife down to Manchester rather than watch Scottish football. And for me, that was a bit bizarre. But pitch invasions, although they were a thing in the 60s, 70s, 80s, etc., they kind of calmed down after the law in the 90s. They weren't really relevant until Celtic won the title in 1998 and they stopped at 10. There was no pitch invasions really during, I can't think of any, during Rangers' 9 in a row run. I think the first big pitch invasion in a long time was when Celtic went onto the park when they stopped at 10 in a row. There's been several pitch invasions over the years since then. Does there need to be a change in the attitudes of Scottish football fans or a change in the law? God forbid, because they've tried to bring football laws in before that weren't very successful in Scotland. But when you look back, I'm going to show you through some headlines. Football doesn't need a crackdown to halt pitch invasions, says expert. And you know, this was done in England just a few years ago. The next one, pitch invasions. Middlesbrough. Pitch invasion at Middlesbrough. You're thinking, Middlesbrough? And another one. Well, we know this one, don't we? This is when this is this year, just a couple of weeks ago, when Rangers fans donned. There he's there. Look, Spider-Man, dressed like a woman, but he's really a man. Spider-Man outfits and run onto the pitch. Does there need to be a change in the law? There's been several headlines that I've been looking at over the years. And generally when there is a pitch invasion, it's when teams have won a competition, when they've won promotion, when they've won the league. You know, having a pitch invasion because you get a 1-0 win against Partick Thistle is a bit ridiculous. And I think that what it's done to the average fan, because they're not seeing the ultras being demonized and banned and stuff, I think you got a lot of people yesterday just a little bit overexcited. Now, there's two things that were at fault yesterday, and it wasn't the fans. It was Celtic Football Club and the police. Now, why wasn't there, coming to the closing end of the game, why wasn't there an increased visibility of stewarding around the outside of the ground? And I mean round the pitch. Why wasn't there an increase in stewarding around the outside of the pitch to deter, with the possibility that Celtic were about to win the league? You know, in the dying minutes, it looked as if when Hearts got the corner, they had the chance. But Celtic did a good press and then ran up the pitch and scored. Celtic need to have a good look at themselves. The police need to have a good look at themselves. Never mind blaming it all on the supporters. The people that go to football, you know, in situations like that, when you win. Last game of the season to snipe to the league, acceptable 1-0 away to St Johnstone midweek is too far. That's what I'm kind of getting at with this, you know. It's becoming a generational thing because it's been happening for 13 years now. Interesting. Rans did it after Kilmarnock for a draw. Yeah, that's right. I mean, doing it for a draw is completely bonkers. And does it need to be brought into law like it is in England? There is a law in England where you've got the one that was the Football Act in 1991, where it was made illegal to enter the field of play. Now, I don't want fans demonised in any way. I don't want fans unfairly brought to task. But if we want to take the game, and there's another way to look at it: sponsorship. All eyes were on Celtic Park yesterday. All eyes around the world. Never mind Celtic fans around the world, media around the world. Now, for the greater good of the game, a lot of people were saying, you know what, it's maybe better if Hearts win this league. Give us something a little bit more exciting to watch. All eyes around the world, and that microphone is being changed. From the look of the vids, the initial outpouring came from the main stand. Some posted we could have had points deducted, pitch invasion. No, that was nonsense. That was never going to happen. We should be talking about the brave decisions Martin O'Neill made yesterday. They were shocking when he dropped Hatate, replacing him with a young boy who came on. I mean, yeah, we're going to get to that. There's plenty of time. There's about an hour to talk about everything Celtic, but I think it's also important to address the elephant in the room, as they say. There we go. I do think it is important to address the elephant in the room, and the thing that Scottish footballers are now blaming Celtic for. Celtic are the demons in the eyes of the world football. So, with the fact that there was a Football Offences Act 1991 brought in England after the Taylor Report, after Hillsborough, after pitch invasions, and etc., is it time for something similar to be brought in at Scotland? That's all I'm asking. Because I think we have to have an adult conversation about it. And here is the legislation. I even went right onto the government website, because I know a lot of you stay in the United Kingdom. The Football Offences Act 1991. Changes to the legislation. There are currently no outstanding effects to the change of the law. It is an offence. Just get rid of that screen. It is an offence for a person to a designated football match to go into the pitch, the playing area, or any adjacent playing area in which spectators are not generally admitted without lawful authority or lawful excuse, which shall be for him or her to prove. Interesting. And that is the Football Offences Act 1991. Which wouldn't cover Scotland. Yeah, there it goes. It only covers England and Wales. So does Scotland need to bring in something different to deter? And I'm not wanting an act brought in to... the Poles have a history of criminalising football fans for their own mistakes. Yes, they do. And what I do not want is... What I do not want is football fans to be demonised any more than what they are. What's the point in talking about this? Do we need to go into it? Yeah, I think we do need to go into it. I think that it's adult-like to have an adult conversation about it, and to show that we are not the biggest perpetrators of this. You know, if we can come out, and even if our own fan base comes out with proposals first, could you imagine that? Do you know? That would be something else. Nobody got assaulted. Yes, this is true. Nobody got assaulted. Although the police did put out a statement. The police did say that we are carrying out inquiries and reviewing CCTV footage from Parkhead Stadium in Glasgow following the pitch invasion and disorder that followed. We continue to engage with Hearts of Midlothian to establish if any of their players were assaulted on the pitch. To establish. In other words, there is no evidence There is no evidence. The major incident portal has been set up to encourage members of the public to submit information directly to officers. Anyone with footage, photographs of any criminality from Celtic Park or the Trongate area. That's enough of that pish anyway. I'm sick of that. Anyway, that is that. Let's just call it as it is. And it's not just a Celtic issue. As we know, there have been many, many incidents in England, even though that they do have this law in place. There have been many incidents all over the UK of people entering the field of play. And the thing is, the majority of them are all to do with, like, I'm going to show you one. And this is absolute bonkers. If you think that Celtic Park and the derby at Celtic Park, a lot of you may have seen this on social media, but when you look at this is absolutely bonkers. I mean, this is a proper pitch invasion. So this is fans invading the park to attack. I mean, that's proper bonkers. And it's on the BBC Sport website. Apologise for having that. It was the only site that I could find on with a decent video. Anyway, let's get back to the main page, which is there. Oh, God, you can't. Anyway, let's talk about George Folks, who once did he not once own? He was a former chairman, wasn't he, of Hearts from 2004 to 2005 for only a year. He was a former Labour MP and MSP. He's put a complaint into FIFA regarding the debacle at Celtic Park. I don't know what he's expecting FIFA to do, because FIFA will turn around and go, we welcome it. FIFA have no implications over that type of thing anyway. It should be UEFA that he's making the complaint to. FIFA are the international body and can only deal with international team matters. They cannot deal in domestic team matters. I'm sure that goes down to UEFA. Maybe if Lord Folks is watching, he should update. We spoke about that the other day, Michelle. That's an update that was 2 days ago. Whatever site that's putting that out, it was that was I did that on a video a couple of days ago, that they were looking to do the deal, because the initial offer that they came in with was 1.3 million. Keep up, love. Anyway, that is enough. Let's talk about Martin O'Neill, because there's a headline out there. I was going through some of the headlines. In another headline, the one that you've missed, is Celtic were after a certain player, a winger, in the last window. It looks like they may be ready to return for him. And there's a headline coming out of Ireland. And this is the real reason that I looked into all the football stuff, because headline coming out of Ireland, grim end to a stunning Scottish race must prompt shift in attitudes. The SPFL and SFA wobble when it comes to punishing their biggest clubs, but recent scenes at Celtic Park are risking setting a dangerous precedent. By placing a full stop on any league campaign, officers cause for reflection. Does it mean that there has to be a reflection over the season? On Sunday, the Scottish Professional Football League utterly condemned Celtic supporters who flooded onto the pitch. Did they come out with such big condemnation when the Rangers fans had masks and everything on? They kind of tried to blame it on them. Sky Sports have just posted it again and broke the news. Right there, thank you. Oh well, it was... they're picking up. It must be a slow news day for them, because it was. I mean, I could show you the video if you like. just for shits and giggles. Yeah, Sky News are playing catch up because first offer rejected 4 days ago. 4 days ago, I posted the video. Let's see it. It's Sunday night. I'm going to have a bit of a laugh tonight. Don't worry about it. To the wire. First offer rejected. There we go. That was it there. 4 days ago. Just saying. Keep up. That's going to be the banter tonight. Anyway, Martin O'Neill. There's another headline out there this afternoon. Is O'Neill the long-term answer for Celtic, or is a 73-year-old in a tracksuit a step too far as a long-term? Oh, a little bit of a dig by that publication. But they do go on about all the good things that Martin O'Neill has done over the course of the season. You know, Martin O'Neill, who was the only person that, and it talks a bit about the season. You know, fan base that were perceived to be revolting over the lack of summer spending, a dismal Champions League playoff to Kazakhstan team Kara Almaty. I still have nightmares. I don't have nightmares, but I have. What did Brendan Rodgers and co not see? Surely they must have watched Cara. I mean, I hate going over. We're champions, and thank goodness. But when you look back at the beginning of the season, and Michelle watched this game with me, there was a few other watched that one. The Cara Almaty game against a team that Celtic beat 5-1 at home in the Champions League. And you're thinking, it's not going to be an easy game. The good thing is the Celtic have a chance to go back into the Champions League this year with only one game to play. And yes, you're right, Rab. There is 56 good reasons to be a Tim right now. Update means bringing something up to date by adding the most recent information, details or changes. Somebody's just went and Googled that, haven't they? Or did you ask ChatGPT for that one? Big Rab. Talking about Martin O'Neill getting older. I know. It's terrible. It is. After two spells at Celtic, either side of Wilfred Nancy, making sure that Celtic get their 14th title in the past 15 years. Some say it's not good for Scottish football to have someone so dominant. Do you think that they would be saying this if Rangers, if Celtic hadn't stopped the 10, and if they hadn't brought in Martin O'Neill in the early 2000s, and if Rangers kept on winning, do you think that the media would have been such in a demonic place if it was Rangers that kept on winning? It's an interesting one. But anyway, after 33 days in charge, Wilfred Nancy was given the boot, and Martin O'Neill came back and worked absolute miracles. There was a lot that Martin O'Neill did. He said that there were some players that was spitting the W. You know that will not happen. You'll be back on it tomorrow. You'll be like, updates. He said, you're putting me off. I'm going to ban you. I'm going to put you on a timeout. When you look at the season that we have had and what Martin O'Neill has managed to do for Celtic, there is no denying that it would be fantastic to keep him. But, you know, with 14 league titles in 15 years, we've had a good run at it. And it's where do we really go from here? I was going to talk about the season, but you know, we kind of know what went on in the season, don't we? We don't need a reminder. Is it the time for just enjoying? Because all the headlines, I mean, every single headline out there every single about every 20 minutes there's a new headline coming out kind of having a dig at Celtic. One thing that we need to maybe talk about, and I want to hear Celtic's statement latest developments for for updates. Celtic are see Willie Hockey standing next to Dermot Desmond in the main stand. One interesting. Was there any pictures of Paul McStay there at the weekend? And I don't think Willie Hockey was. He must have been standing behind Dermot Desmond in the main stand. I've not seen any pictures, to be honest. But it would be interesting if Paul McStay was at the game yesterday. Update: taxes are inevitable. That's me. My town's been depressed for 20 years. It's fucking brilliant. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, fuck that. Well, yeah, I'll put Kev's comment up. Just enjoy the winner. Oh, honestly, it's bonkers. Anyway, where does Celtic go from here? Transfer news wise, there is obviously the speculation about Celtic having agreed a deal and then looking to redo the deal. And then there's the update that, but I think the big one, I'm not too sure about talking about this one. It's pure speculation. It's a player that we looked at the last transfer window. Actually, do I have him on the system? Because if you looked at him at the last transfer window, show all players in the database. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Let's see if we can work the magic and wonders of technology. Let me see if I do this. We should be able to get the players' information up here. If I still can do it. Which one is it? There we go, new players. There it is there. There's the player that we've been linked with. Again, could this be the player that we go for to take place of Yang next season? And would you keep Yang next season? What has he achieved this season? He's got 15 goals. 15 goals. That's a good return for a winger. What's Yang on? Is Yang on about 10 or something? Will Celtic go back to Italy to make an offer for him? That's the big thing. Last goal yesterday was Super Sweet Baz, TV at its best. Yes, it was that. Let's jump into the comments tonight. We'll just have a little chat tonight. 40 odd goals less than last season. We still smashed the league. Sevco and Hearts had their chance, and there won't be another for a long time as long as our board don't F it up again. Well, if you're going to spend the likes of £7 million on a winger, it could be the fact that, Celtic are maybe meaning business. And it'll be interesting because I wonder, Nancy gets a medal. Jesus God. I missed the 80s was superb. You're showing your age. You are showing your age. Will our new manager be named after the week after the cup final? Yes, Stephen. Previously, we can only go on what Celtic have done previously, and the last time that we knew our manager was leaving at the end of the season was Ronnie Dyler. Other than then, the managers have left mid-season or towards the end of the season. Ronnie Dyler told Celtic that he wasn't going to be staying on as manager, so it would give them enough time to bring in the next candidate. So he was there and had pre-season, blah, 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 blah. And Brendan Rodgers was brought in on around about I think it was the 26th of May or something. Don't quote me on the date, but it was about a week before the deadline for season tickets, and I think it was a Friday, if I remember right, because I can remember someone that I know that sits in the main stand that deals with an awful lot of season tickets for his clubs. There was an upsurge in sales in season ticket sales on that Monday, obviously because we never sold out the stadium. So I would think that if there's any indication whatsoever that season ticket sales aren't where they would be expected to be, and if people are maybe holding off, it'll be interesting to see what happens on Tuesday, what the information that comes out on Tuesday evening with Willie Hawkey, who's sits next to Dermot Desmond, behind him at Celtic Park. He'll speak to him in the lounges. I wonder if they have conversations. Don't know. Do you think that Dermot Desmond turns around to Hawkey and go, "Oh, you, the fuck you playing it? I'm not even going to put on accent. The fuck you playing it? Why are you playing it? Fucking want to buy 10 millions of shares to let those fucking reprobates have a say on the board? Ross, kill him." I wonder if they had that conversation. This is the type of question that needs to be asked of Willie Hawkey. And I do know that I did email his secretary on Thursday morning, and I've had no response. I'm not expecting any response, to be honest. And if I don't get a response for Willie Hawkey and his secretary, it will tell you exactly what he's playing at, and it's just trying to play Celtic fan media the same way that Celtic did. Anyway, get the boy Casper Hoch signed. I don't think that one will happen. He's a good player. Baz seen a bit of him, very skillful, interesting. Baz, if that mob can spend 45 million and win the middle of a donut, surely we could spend that by 10,000 points. I'm over in Washington for the Cup final. Ireland's Four Courts Pub, Washington DC, 10 a.m. Nice early start. Are you allowed to buy alcohol in pubs in America at 10 a.m.? I thought they had quite strict laws in that in America. Can you just rock up to a boozer at 10 a.m. and get the pints on, eh? What? I don't know. I have no idea. Anyway, did you see how emotional Kalmak was at the game yesterday? Yes, I think it was his last season with us. No, I don't. I don't think it is. I think that Kalmak was emotional because this will go down in history. Callum McGregor will be remembered as the captain that achieved the unthinkable. You've got to remember that we were third in the league. We were third in the league a month ago. Third in the league. We were not favourites for the league. We were third in the league. And if anything, the team that came third were actually favourites with some of the bookies, especially after some games Celtic drops points. But anyway, I don't think it is his last season. But if it is, he's got 2 seasons left. Do you think that Brendan Rodgers would actually pay money for Callum McGregor? I don't think so. Jesus, I've just read that comment before I put it. I should have read it before I put it on the screen. Ay, ay, ay. I don't trust that anyone previously scouted. Hearts will be stronger next season. Will they be stronger? I don't think Hearts will be a lot stronger. Some of the chats that I've had today, people have been saying that Derek McInnes will be the next Rangers manager. There you go. But I don't think McInnes will be the next Rangers manager. I think he had his chance at that. My question is, which loan players do we try and keep? Well, seeing that Big Tam was at the game yesterday, and seeing that the other players that were there, Celtic have put out a statement. Celtic have just put out a statement. Wow, let's get this statement up. Celtic have put out a statement. Breaking news. Michelle, you didn't break that news. You're playing that part-timer. Everyone at Celtic, everyone at the club congratulates Martin, our players, and our staff on delivering the club's 56th Scottish League title and a thrilling climax to a season backed by a magnificent support. Give your money and get your season tickets bought. We thank the Celtic fans for everything they have done to help the team over the line. The club regrets that our victory over Hearts was followed by a number of individuals entering the field of play. We again emphasise there is no justification for this behaviour, which for the vast majority of Celtic supporters only detracts from the joy of such occasion. Celtic will cooperate fully with any investigation with the SPFL in their own process. We also apologise to Hearts for the situation encountered by their players and the staff at the conclusion of the game, and the fact that these events prevented them from saluting their own supporters at the end of an enthralling campaign to which they have contributed so much. Sorry, Celtic, but Hearts players were trying to fight Celtic players going up the tunnel. Derek McInnes took the huff inside the stadium. Derek McInnes, in his rage, told everybody to get out of Celtic Park now, get on the bus, we're getting out of here. The players were that upset that they did not even have time to change from the kit that they played on in the pitch. They were carrying their belongings in their arms, and a lot of them were emotionally, physically greeting. There you go. But that is the Celtic statement that was put out around about 20 minutes ago now. Celtic Football Club statement. It'll be interesting to see if they put that on their social medias and the reaction from Celtic fans on social media. Let me just do a quick. Twitter's always great for the instant meltdowns. Oh, wait a minute. Let's just do it straight to sell. That was a Derek McInnes, champions again. Oh, there is the club statement. Oh, I've got to dive into the comments. Ah, ah. Oh, I've got to show you these. Sunday night. It's the season's over and done with, so we don't have to stick to club statement. Celtic FC club statement. That's it. Just club statement. It's like your angry uncle. Fucking club statement. God damn it, fucking hung over the fuck. Better say something. The poor media guys like that. Oh, man, fucking, they want me to type this up and put it on the website, man. I'm pure hanging, man. Honestly, I gubbed 4 of the wee magic pills last night and it was just banging it out of order. It was all sorts going on last night, man. And they want me to do some work on a Sunday. The league's done and dusted, man. Really? Oh, I've got to go into work in. Can you not do it for him? Oh, they didn't trust me, man. In case you get on that laptop and start going fuck the Huns and stuff. So anyway, the club statement. Sorry, not sorry. Really, I'm really sorry. Really, classy. But maybe call it the conduct of some of the Hearts players. Good old Joey from Friends, for those that aren't old enough to realize, and to which they have contributed so much. Celtic just hit Hearts with a at least you tried. Rangers spent 50 million, finished third. Hearts were 9 points clear. Celtic had 6 first team injuries, 3 different managers, yet people on Celtic winning it. If I was 9 points clear and spent 45 million, I'd be raging at my team. Celtic always the bad guys. Always the bad guys. Very, very true. This is the best picture yet. Immature, but I don't care. Those that jump the barriers should be banned from Parkhead. We fannies. He's got 4 replies. And Jesus Christ. Oh, that first comment, I'm not even going to go into it anymore. Let's move on for that. Fair enough. Get this man and his team signed up for a full season of fit players and let him take us on one last journey into Europe. We'll talk about that because obviously Martin O'Neill said that he didn't sort of say so much, but what he did do was he kind of said the following. It's better in words. That after this season, about staying on in the season, he would love to. He loves Celtic, but this season has been physically, mentally draining for Martin O'Neill. Let's jump back into just a little bit of the Celtic fans. After seeing Callum Osmond, I'd love to see him start in the cup and let Maeda and Yang go on the wing. Bloom is going to spend millions pre-season. Stephen, they've only got 10 million in the bank to spend. They've only got 10 million in the bank. I don't think that Hearts are running in a way that people will pump money. Stephen, you were one of the guys that were saying there was no chance of Celtic winning. I'm secretly thinking that you're a Hearts fan, mate, because you were adamant that Celtic weren't winning this, and Hearts were. And now you're giving it. Bloom's going to spend millions. They've only got 10 million in the bank. Celtic have got 77 million in the bank. Rangers have got 34 million in the bank. I'd be more worried about them. But then they got to save their money because they're not in the Champions League next year. Hearts will get money if can Hearts make the Champions League 2 games? I don't think so. But anyway, Hearts will struggle next season with European football. Exactly. Hearts had no Let's just calm down a bit here. Hearts had no European football this season. They had week after week, no midweek games. While Celtic had midweek games in Europe, they had none. They were allowed to rest, recuperate, and just keep plugging away. And you've got to remember, at that point in the season, Derek McInnes was not convinced that his Hearts team could sustain it to the end of the season. So let's not get carried away with ourselves here. Unless they use Skynet next year, we're all doomed. Sevco will buy their players. Don't know about that. I'd keep non-loan players. Yeah, let's get to that. We're going to get to that, weren't we? Before Celtic ruined it by putting out the statement. Right, loan players at Celtic. Julian Araujo's returned to his club. No, he's returned back to his nation, his home nation. He wasn't there at the end of the game. Benjamin Arthur, there is no option to buy with him, so he will go back. Marcelo Sirache, I think that Celtic have been trying to do a deal. Let's see, Julian, there he is there, look, there he is, the mad Mexican that he is. I'd love to see him at Celtic, but I think because you've got Alistair Johnston, unless Alistair Johnston gets sold this summer, I think that would then Celtic would try and then make a move for Julian Araujo. Other loan players, Oxlade Chamberlain, is he good enough? 34-year-olds. Not too sure about that one. Junior Adamu, he will not be getting kept at Celtic. Tam the Czech, that's an interesting one because Tam the Czech was at the game to collect his winner medal, even though he didn't play 10 games. Or did he? Did he play the 10 games? But anyway, he was at the stadium yesterday and he got his medal. Kelechi Iheanacho, I would actually keep Kells. I would keep Kelechi Iheanacho. It depending on his wages, do you know? Depending on his wages, and then there's only real Joe Mavuka. Where he's there. It's just He's there. Joe Mavuka, I don't think that we keep him. The bigger question is the players that are out on loan. How many of them can we get rid of to trim the squad down and buy in better players? And then you've also got you're going to lose Dyson Maeda. Your possibility. I mean, if you don't sign Tam the Czech, you're going to have to bring in at least another 3 players, a striker and 2 wingers minimum. But maybe not. Maybe only 1 winger. It depends what happens with Michelangelo Balikwisha. I mean, Martin O'Neill turned around and straight away says to Michelangelo Balikwisha, "You're not getting a game in my team, mate." Do you know, Michelangelo Balikwisha, that's a £5 million question that we need to answer in the summer. You can't put a £5 million before you say put him out on loan. You cannot put a £5 million player as a Celtic player, as Celtic as a team. You're not putting £5 million worth of asset out on loan. No way. Not in Scottish football. That's £5 million down the drain. If you put him out on loan, he's not going to get any better. Is there a chance that Celtic might try and cut their losses and go, do you know what, go and get another teammate? And then there's the Yang question. Ultimately, is Yang good enough? Will he be sold? Stephen says, is Jota alive? I never seen him yesterday, actually. But as if Hearts get beaten in the qualifiers, I don't think they drop into the Europa League. But I might be wrong. I think if they lose in the first qualifier, because have they got 2 or 3 qualifiers? I'm not sure. I think that they have 2 qualifiers. So if they've got 2, I think once the only one that you don't drop down into the Europa is the last one. So if they get beaten the first one, they drop down into the Europa. And then they've got a playoff place in the Europa to play for, I think. If that's right. Can't remember. Anyway, who cares? So we'll only be worried about Celtic then. Tam is not good enough for Celtic. Celtic must have some consideration for him. I don't personally think he's not done enough for me to warrant a Celtic paying $7 million for. Do you know? Can we build for the future? The future is now. A bag of cans ready in the fridge. We are Celtic and Baz TV. Thanks for that, David. Do you think Dyson think twice? I'd like to see us play Welsh as part of next season. Has Welsh found his level? And it's no disrespect to Welsh. He's a fantastic lad. I said before that you need players like Welsh in the squad. But the only reason that I'm kind of changing now is because we've got Dane Murray. So you've got a young Scottish lad that's coming through the system. Stephen Welsh has served his purpose at Celtic, and he's now playing regular football, which he's loving and he's enjoying. And Motherwell put out a thing on Twitter. I'm going to get it up because I think it was don't get too attached to your. Let me just see if I can find it. Don't get too attached to your loan players. Motherwell FC. Let's see if I can find it. Oh. Motherwell Sam Nicholson will be joining Livingston for the 26-27 season. Letting a player go. Never fall in love with a lone player. Too late. Thank you for a magnificent season. Wow. Well, wow. I need to let you see this. Can Stevie Welsh come back and have a complete change of this is quite unbelievable. Let me just do this. Stevie Welsh. That was Motherwell. Wow. So, tell me what you think of that then. It's not the same, but it reminds me of Paul Lambert leaving Germany. Could Stevie Welsh come back to Celtic? Now it's totally different because Paul Lambert won the Champions League with Germany, so it's maybe not the same level, but the love for the player is what I'm getting at. The love that Motherwell have for Stevie Welsh. And it does say, never fall in love with the lone player. Too late. Thank you for a magnificent season, Stephen. And then I will read out some of the comments. Celtic fan here, thank you to Motherwell for giving the Welsh opportunity to develop his game. What a great season it's been for the club and player. Up the road, stellar season, son. He's out your price range now. Sign the contract, big man. Stump up 4 million and he's all yours, lads. I'll admit, this is a Celtic fan. I'll admit I wrote him off, but what a season he's had. We have invariably have to defend a lot of high balls. We lost most goals. That was never Stephen Welsh's 40. Suits Motherwell's system to a T. Take away absolutely nothing away from well this season. Every team feared them in the split, rightly so. Motherwell, you really done well this season. A lot of thanks. Outstanding. Sometimes playing style suits certain players and also their team mates suits. Thank you, big man, for giving everything and showing others what you're about. Best wishes. So he's getting a lot of love there. A lot of people wanting him back. People are saying a straight swap for Watt and Just. Interesting. Some interesting comments. Will he work for the Motherwell manager again? That'll be interesting if he does. So yeah, what do you think about Stephen Welsh? I think it depends on who the next Celtic manager will be, won't it? And let's be fair, it will depend on. Stephen signed a 5-year contract just over a year ago with Celtic, didn't he? I'm sure it was a 5-year contract. Would he be more than capable? Celtic fans were trying to chase him out the door. Do you know they were like, he's not Celtic class. Are we really saying that because he's went away on loan, he's had a good season? He could save us money, but then if he doesn't do it, don't know. You're thinking, how long will it take for the fans to turn against them? CCDD 1604. Thank you for your super chat. Missed that earlier. Maida centre forward on a bumper 4-year deal. Jordan Larson right wing, Jota left wing, Benji Negrin and Bai Sarachi. Let Martin build around that for the Champions League. And then you wake up and you find out that the board are still there. I think Jordan Larson, I don't think that he will ever be at Celtic, being honest. Just now. Experience in the Scottish Premier League, Stephen Welsh could come back a far better player for that. Would some of the fans say that Celtic are going for the cheap option? It would give you experienced players like Cameron Carter-Vickers, Austin Trusty, Liam Scales and Stephen Welsh. It's the same back four that we went into the Champions League with last season and the Europa. Now, I don't know how I feel about it because I know the instant, as soon as we get a bad spell at one point, people will jump on the board and say, well, it's the board's fault for not buying players. And the board will be going, well, wait a minute, you all bloody wanted Stephen Welsh to stay at Celtic. And sometimes it's better You know, sometimes it's better to keep a player that you know can do a job. Listen, it's going to come down to Stephen Welsh at the end of the day. Stephen Welsh has went out and he's played a full year's football. He'll go away and have his summer. There'll be no talk of contract talks. In fact, he'll not even go away for the summer. Will he be back? No, because he's contracted until the end of May, isn't he? So he can't even come back to Celtic to go to Hampden to watch us win the double. Oh, you'll have to be in the stands. What a shame. What a shame. You have to be in the stands beside the fans. But anyway, with players like Benjamin Arthur leaving Celtic in that midfield area, it would only leave you with Dane Murray as backup to either Austin Trusty or Liam Scales. Because he's not really. We need someone to come in and fight Cameron Carter-Vickers, don't we? I'm glad I'm not the Celtic manager, because there's a lot of decisions to be made, and there are a lot of players that have been at the club for 4 years now. And, do we need to freshen it up? Do the players want to move on? There are players that have won 5 trophies in a row with Celtic. Will they see that as, that's pretty fantastic? Winning a double against the odds. Maybe I want to try something new. I want to try a different league. I want to try a different country. I want to try a different style of football. Honestly, I think after the cup final, I think Martin O'Neill will move on to the board. Maloney, Fosey, McManus, and a new management team will be the new management team for next season. Martin O'Neill can shadow them for advice. No, I don't think so. I think that you'll get people will not buy season tickets if that were to be the case. I think that would be, the Celtic fans would see that as a cheap option. And he wished Motherwell the best of luck, so I don't think he's going back. I don't think Motherwell can afford them. Celtic did put a £1 million price tag on Stephen Welsh in the January window. Aberdeen inquired, but they said that it was too much money for Aberdeen, and Aberdeen are going down the road of investing in Scottish players. Motherwell Mad Gogsy said farewell to him after they beat Hibs. Some of the comments. Just give pre-season. Next manager will have the final say, hopefully, and not the board. Yeah, he were hoping. Celtic support were frustrated with Welsh's consistent injuries. Did Welsh's consistent injuries come from the lack of first team games? We've said this before about players. When you get a run of games and you're up to speed, we've had Oxlade-Chamberlain, who was once worth 40 million. When he came to Celtic, he was physically fit. He was doing training sessions, but he wasn't match fit. He wasn't able to do 90 minutes games. Martin O'Neill said that we're trying to get Ox up to pace. Hasn't really worked out, has it? Stephen Welsh, although he started some games and he got little bits of run, he didn't have a consistent run of games, did he? I mean, he's not been injured this season. Motherwell have been playing fantastic. They've done well in the league. Could be that the next Celtic manager says, you know what, give me Welsh and sell either Trusty or Cameron Carter-Vickers and bring in someone else. You've also got young Dane Murray that I'd like to see excel at the club. It's a big summer with lots of headlines, so we'll need people for their breaking news. I'd be keeping Welsh and ditching injury-prone Cameron Carter-Vickers. But that's a big question. Is Callum Osman going to be our next number one striker next season? No. He will not be number one striker. He will be number 3 striker at Celtic. He wasn't brought in to be number 1 at this moment. He was brought in to take over for where Daniel Cummins was at the club. He was brought in You've got to remember, he was only in the youth setup at Fulham. He wasn't first team. Well, he did play some first team football at Fulham, didn't he? But he knew that, he would have to bed himself in. He's got all the enthusiasm that you would expect a young kid to have. But I do not think that he's a number one striker. And I wouldn't want to put that pressure on him. And I don't think that we should. I think that we should use him sparingly and have him as a lethal weapon to come on off the bench. What a fantastic... Let's not burn them out, and let's not get them overused like Kieran Tierney. I think a lot of Celtic fans will admit that the need for Celtic to play Kieran Tierney week in, week out ultimately hampered his career when he went to Arsenal, because the pace of the game and everything, he just picked up injuries and it just kept on similar type of injuries. Is that because Kieran Tierney played too much from a young age, consistently? People say if you're good enough, you're fast. If you're good enough, play them. But the reality is, if you want a player to really hit his peak at a certain point, you kind of bring them in gradually, don't you? I mean, look at Yamal at Barcelona. They don't play him every game. They drop him out even though there's nothing wrong with him, they drop him out just to keep him, just for not getting injured and stuff. So it's all about game management in the modern game, isn't it? So, yeah, that's the question to that. Doesn't mean that he knows that Motherwell manager not going to be there. No idea. Osman should be our second choice, if not starting up top with a top two. I wouldn't even have him as... it's no disrespect to the young lad, but if we make Callum Osman first choice... Now, here's my... If we make Callum Osman first choice or second choice, and he bangs in 20 goals, you know what's going to happen. A team's going to come in and go, we'll give you 20 million, Celtic. Celtic are going to go, I want us to have a manager that's going to go, do you know what? No, I'm not going to play him every single game. I don't care if he can score us 20 goals a season. I want to just keep bringing him in bit by bit and let him know about, he's going to have a football journey, but he doesn't have to go away to have that football journey. I want him to learn his trade at Celtic and not get burnt out and not be sold after one season. Matt O'Reilly was sold after one good season. Matt O'Reilly could not get a starting place on the Celtic team sheet because of a little Australian player, Aaron Moy, who was ancient in football terms. Aaron Moy kept Matt O'Reilly at the team. Aaron Moy decides to leave Celtic a year early, go back home, said, just rip my contract up. I'm kind of done playing football. My back's done. I'm missing my family, my kids. I want to get back to Australia. And that moment changed Matt O'Reilly's life. You got to remember that Matt O'Reilly wanted to leave that summer. He wanted to leave before he knew Brendan Rodgers was coming. Brendan Rodgers admitted that he had to convince Matt O'Reilly to stay at Celtic and other players that were wanting away because they didn't get on with Ange. We forget all this as fans. But anyway, great to see Osman and Nacho up top at the end. It was like an old Martin Knight team with two up top. Yes, and that's what I would rather have. I would rather have... Could you imagine if you've got, say, Kelechi Iheanacho, Callum Osmond, and maybe Tam the Czech? It's a cheap option. I'm going to say it. It would be a cheap option for Celtic to go for, and very Celtic-like. They brought him back. They told him to come back from Germany. A lot of teams would say, look, you've went back to your club, you're injured, you went back to your club, we'll send you your medal over. But Celtic went, nope, we'll fly you back over and we'll get you to pick up your medal. I could honestly see Celtic playing two up front, but they need to bring in another striker because Daizen Maeda is going to leave. If you're going to play two up front, you need 4 good strikers. Put your left arm in, your left arm out. Inside, outside, shake it all about. Do the Nicholson turnaround. Oh, he thinks he's Nicholson Maradona. The game changed when we went two up top. I'm a big fan of having two strikers. I'm a big fan of 3-5-2. Um, definitely. 3-5-2. The Celtic top doesn't shrink to fit shit players. Last 15 minutes was centenary season. Like, oh, now that's a big one because Celtic went on to win the double that year. What's up? God. And that one. What's this? Oh, sorry. I never seen that comment. Apologise. Just I've seen a comment that was that I must have missed. That I must have missed. Don't know how I missed it. There's been 832 comments. God, I'm kind of flipping through them. 45 million quid made the weaker. Lovely stuff. Our Celtic board taking all the plaudits and patting themselves on the back for the success this season. Kinda, yeah, they are, aren't they? I'll go back into that statement that a certain member of the channel told us about, and I didn't notice. On Celtic, I don't want teams. And they kind of are patting themselves on the back, are they? We thank the Celtic fans for everything that they've done to help get the team over the line. Is it really the time to have a dig at the board about the board wanting to feel all important? I'm not really fussy about the statement, to be honest. Do you know, if anything, they've kind of bitch slapped Hearts. Don't know, by saying that Hearts contributed so much to the season. I'm not going to get overexcited about a Celtic statement. There's more important things in life right now. Well, McInnes. Oh, I'm going to jump through the end of the comments. I've managed to be on for more than an hour tonight. You need to play 10 plus games to get a winner's medal. Jota didn't. I don't think Jota was even there. I think the stalemate was output. McInnes is demanding a replay for the last 20 seconds. So's his missus. Ah, ah. I never knew that you broke the news first. Jesus. I never even seen that you broke the news first. Anyway, we won the league despite the board, not because of them. Yeah, this is true. Right, that is me done and dusted for a Sunday evening. I quite like this earlier time on a Sunday. Let's just hope that we're not playing European football. We all know the reason that we play football on a Sunday, and I really want Celtic to get back to playing football on a Saturday. That means being in the Champions League. We've now put ourselves within a fantastic position as a football club to have one game, two games, one game at home, one game away, 2 games away from getting into the Champions League. Ay, ay, ay. Jesus. Baz, was your dad say, would you say, I love shooting shots, it was better than the one yesterday? I can't really remember 86 win because, like I say, I was only about 14 at the time. So I can't really remember it. I'm standing. I'm standing. So Jesus. We'll get Cara Almaty in the qualifiers. Well, if we do, we know what they play like, and hopefully we'll have a manager that will be able to take us into the Champions League, because that's where Celtic. And I tell you one thing: if we do get into the Champions League next year, which I sincerely hope that we do, the Celtic board have got away with one. Completely got away with one. Because if we were to be out the Champions League 2 years in a row, the financial disparity to the club, the financial loss of 40 million revenue for 2 seasons in a row would mean that the next manager would really have to cut his cloth something else. Thankfully, I was at the game at 1986, but was well pished. I know quite a few guys that were at the game. A few guys that run buses that I know that were at games. A big shout out to Sean Houston. Anybody that knows Sean will know that Sean's went to the football for years. He's an old neighbour of mine. Fantastic lad. But anyway, I'm getting I'm getting reported to the SPFL. I'm enjoying Danny Rowe. You've been on the bevy today. You've been on the piss, haven't you? I'm enjoying Danny Rowe. My earliest Celtic memory was Love Street 1986, the season next. Good give folks. Why would I support an English team? They're foreign to me. What I would like to know is, why do so many Irish support, foreign teams? Kev was 20 at the time. I think you're just trying to keep me on now just for shits and giggles, aren't you? Anyway, that's me done and dusted for this evening. It's funny because I'm quite pissed now. 86, I was underage drinking. It's true. Anyway, I'm away to finish. I'm at work right now. Working very well, to say the least. Not working very well. Well, is it busy tonight? Is your favourite football pundit in the bar tonight? Right, that's me done and dusted. Thank you to everyone that's been on the live tonight. There's been over 3,000 people on the live for an early kickoff on a Sunday. It's not too bad. I shall see you first thing in the morning, and I wonder if there'll be any little snippets of news rather than anti-Celtic stuff. I wonder if there'll be any snippets of news about the next manager, or if Martin O'Neill was even asked if he'll stay on as manager. Big Rab wasn't even 86. I wasn't even one yet. No believing that at all. Have a fantastic evening, Celtic fans, wherever you are all around the world.